Well, hear me. I tell you what I choose to think. What do you choose to think? Is it bringing you happiness, joy, and life? More abundantly, life eternal. If not, why aren't you reviewing what you should be thinking? Perhaps with me, just to get some sort of contrast. Not to choose my way, deliberately, or obediently, or to just defer because one does to elders or something. That's very dodgy. But simply to free you from your enslavement to the way you're thinking at present. If it is enslavement, if it's not bringing you joy and peace and hope and love and assurance, blessing, all goodness, life more abundantly, life eternal. It's not rocket science. If it's bringing you goodies, well, fine, run with it. But if it isn't, don't you think you need to review? The principle presented is to love your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Your God. Perhaps you should try this. Perhaps you shouldn't. Perhaps it's so dangerous. It's best to stick with your depression and lack of life and wondering what it's all about, rather than risk something that may be something wonderful. Jesus' story, life eternal. Those that have ears to hear, let them hear. You may be bogged down, especially in Western religion, with blame. Even secularity is just full now of blame. The law of the state runs on it. It's easier to force the person that's a trouble to us to do something about it than for us to do something about it so that he's not a trouble to us. I mean, perhaps he needs special love and care, special provision, kindness, love and care, not consequence, a fine, a punishment, locked up, degraded, because it seems the best thing to do from our point of view. But it's very costly, isn't it? I mean, just in sheer resources, it's absurdly costly. We treat, you see. We contain, we control, we manage, instead of come to understand, love, and cure. Our medical system's fallen into the same trap. Our educational system has too. We perpetuate the historicity and lies that we've inherited from the past and misunderstandings, instead of encourage the creativity of, well, reminds me something of a Rudolf Steiner school. Our method of politics is the same, especially in war. We destroy the enemy, we kill it, we wipe it out. Instead of seeking earnestly to understand and relate and to care for and reach out to our enemies. Can I say as an economist, it might be much cheaper and far less disastrous. I mean, we're going to get things wrong, of course, we misunderstand, but, taste and see. I like to think of New Zealand as non-military. I mean, we do have some sort of leanings to militarism, of course, because militantism, whatever, because of a European historicity, of course. But New Zealand had a good name for being helpful and, yes, Western, but not bristling with armaments and nuclear power and destruction, but come to help and bodge up some sort of job. Number 8 wire, as they call it in New Zealand. Can do, we'll do that, we'll try that, we'll give it a go. Can we help? Right. Simplistic, gullible, yes. Frontier, really. Not too Christian. But in a way, more churches than that than elsewhere in the world, perhaps. Per head of population, Sort of leanings to some sort of spirituality. Not clear what, of course. And happy to try anything new. FPOS cards and non-nuclear policy and don't know what else. Brave new world, really. Yeah. Amazingly multicultural. I mean, almost civilized in the way it does it. I mean, not quite, but does its best, so to speak. Sweet little country, really. Not sure how long it can last, but... Where was I? Hang on. You're a person, you're life. The very essence of life is creativity. It's courageous too. Reckless, the conformist would say. Ungodly, the traditionalist would say. But essentially loving, not just creative. Empathy, not just wisdom. Kind, not just conforming. Jesus in the story has it that he's come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear. So we don't teach, we don't ram it down your throat. We are example, of course. And we hope a blessing. By the grace and the love of God, that we live in peace and fellowship and fullness of life, life eternal, a joy and a blessing to all life. By the grace of God and His goodness. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.